If you just can't stop yourself from snacking all the time, in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to simply reduce your cravings so you can ultimately stop snacking once and for all, so you can lose the stubborn fat you desire for good. So let's get into it, shall we? What is going on, my friends? This is Jake of www.jgcalisthenics.co.uk, and if you're new to weight training and calisthenics, as well as this being your first time here on this channel, then I would definitely consider subscribing to the channel and turn on post notifications, because the videos I make on the channel are specifically for people like you, my friends, to help you reach your goals faster. And if you've been here for a while and you're a loyal crew member aboard the Game Train Express, then welcome back to the channel once more. I appreciate you as always. Right, so the first step to eliminating cravings and actually, stop snacking once and for all is to really find balance, right, in terms of your nutrition as a whole. So what I mean by this, right, is your calories, right, when it comes to fat loss. You want to be eating less to the point where obviously you're actually putting your body into a state where you lose body fat, right, a calorie deficit. But you also want to be eating enough to the point where, your body isn't going to, reduce its metabolism and metabolic rate so much to the point where you're going to just get cravings and hunger levels all the time, right? So you want to find that sweet spot of, enough to actually lose weight, but also enough to the point where you can stay in that state consistently without getting all these cravings left, right, and center. Do you see what I mean? And so related to balance with calories, you also want a balance of macronutrients, your carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, because if you severely, take one or two out of your diet, or there's just not enough balance, then obviously you're going to get cravings, because carbohydrates are your main source of energy, proteins are very satiating, and fats are essential for the maintenance and production of your hormones, right? So if you can imagine, if you take one of them out, that's how ultimately you may get more cravings than you're like right now, simply because everything is not aligned. So if you have the right amount of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, then ultimately you won't get the cravings you may be having so much. You see what I mean? And to add to this briefly before we go on to the next point, make sure you're drinking enough water. Big mistake people make, which I'm certainly guilty for, is mistaking thirst for hunger and hunger for thirst. So in some cases where you may feel hungry, your body may actually be telling you that you just want some water, right? And when it comes to losing fat and losing it for good, your best friend for your fat loss journey, my friend, it's going to be your micronutrients, your fruits and vegetables, because obviously they provide the most volume for the amount of calories they consist of. So if you were to eat more of them, of good quality nutritious whole foods, then you'll feel much more full and satiated and fulfilled throughout each meal, so you won't get the cravings throughout the day, especially at night, right? You know what I mean? Now, tip number 2, which is something you may not have considered, is a meal schedule. Now, no, I'm not talking about any, BS schedules for anabolic windows or the best time to eat for fat, or no carbohydrates after 6, otherwise you'll gain 10 pounds of fat overnight, right? This is simply for the fact of 2 very critical factors when it comes to fat loss, right? Which is consistency and discipline, right? Because as humans, we're creatures of habits, right? If we are able to adhere to something consistently, it's much easier to stick to, right? As an example, why do you turn up to work at 9 AM and leave at 5 PM? Because it's a schedule, right? And if you're watching this, let's say if you're a busy work professional, a CEO, an entrepreneur, or a general employee, right? I'm sure your most productive days in the office, right, have actually been where you've had a very, specific schedule to stick to. So you haven't had any white spaces in your diary or calendar to fill it up with, unnecessary tasks, right? So if we take this in relation to performance at work, of these being our times where we're most productive, right? If we carry that over to nutrition, right, where we eat at times that best serves us, right, and we have that as a consistent schedule throughout the week, we're not going to have any white spaces to leave for unproductive stuff like snacking when we don't need to. Do you see what I mean? Because as well as this, if you actually eat at the same times each day, let's say as an example 7 AM, 12 PM, and 6 PM, maybe with like a 4 PM snack, let's just say, theoretically speaking, your body's actually going to adapt to that over time, so you're not actually going to get so many cravings. And ultimately, if you say that you're going to eat at these certain times, you're not going to allow yourself any time to eat or snack in between, simply because it's not part of your schedule. Do you know what I mean? So once again, treat your meal schedule like a work schedule, because when we have a work schedule, we stick to it, right? The exact same applies with nutrition. If we have a highly structured work schedule, we have a highly productive day. If we have well-structured meal timings throughout the day consistently, then we're gonna have a productive day of our nutrition too. So as a result, you can lose the stubborn fat you desire and lose it for good, right? You still with me? Now, tip number 3 is to actually remember why you want to lose fat and lose weight in the first place, right? Because the problem most people have when it comes to losing weight, and why they can't actually, get to their goal weight as a whole, or lose, the 15 to 20 plus pounds of fat they desire, is because they're not actually clear as to why they're doing it in the first place, and it's very easy for them to give up because there's not a strong enough incentive to keep on going, right? But when you acknowledge that, you know, your true reason to lose weight, it's not so much just to lose fat, right? You're doing it because you want to feel confident in your own skin, right? You're doing it because you want to increase your energy and productivity at work, right? You're doing it because you know that if you have a better looking body, it's going to allow you to actually give more love to your family, your relationships, you know, your husband, your wife, your kids, everyone, right? We all know that, you know, in this case of losing fat and building a body you're proud of, it's way beyond just, you know, the body transformation. It's the life transformation, long term, for the rest of your life, right? So when you can establish that, right, when you know you're playing this for the long term rather than short term, that's how you're going to be much more likely to stick to it, by holding yourself accountable to our highest standard. Do you see what I mean? And as I've seen from clients such as Seth, who lost 50 pounds in 6 months while working with me, that's how his main driver, as he saw and communicated with me, was the fact of seeing his weight loss progress as a lifestyle rather than a temporary fix. Do you see what I mean?
One of the things that stuck out to me is kind of towards the end of my time with the program, after about 6 months, I'd lost 50 pounds, and that was amazing. But what was even more rewarding for me was having people's reactions to it. When people started telling me like, wow, like you look really good, people that hadn't seen me in 2 or 3 months, and like hearing from them like this drastic change, it was insanely rewarding. Just again, this idea that you're changing your lifestyle. This isn't a workout plan. This isn't a temporary fix. You're changing your entire outlook on life and changing who you are for the better.
And as Seth said, if you're a busy work professional who, you know, doesn't have the time to do the guesswork themselves and just would really like to lose, you know, the 15 to 20 plus pounds of fat you desire, so you can ultimately be proud of what you see in the mirror, and of course that is exactly what my online coaching program, the Body Weight Transformation Blueprint, is for and will help you achieve. So if this is something you'd be interested in, you can actually check out the link in the description below. We can actually book a free consultation with me to see if or how I can help you, and to establish if, you know, working together would actually be a good fit, right? Because again, this is not an actual commitment to the program. It's just for me to get to know you, you to get to know me, and once again, establish the best means of moving forward together, right? And so as I said, if you enjoyed this video, you like my content, enjoy watching every single minute and every single second of this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment down below what part of this video you found most helpful and what you're going to apply after this video to help solve your cravings and your snacking habits once and for all. I'd love to know and interact with you on that note. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, my friend, and as a crew member of the Gain Share Express, keep moving forward.